What a London derby we had today. We had Chelsea versus Tottenham, and we saw what a great team can do against a subpar team. Yes, I'm talking about Chelsea obviously being the great team and Tottenham being the subpar team because we are Chelsea fans. Now, what we saw in this game just shows how well an elite manager can be for any club, because we saw Thomas Tuchel make some changes at halftime, and that happened to be a huge factor in this game because in the first half it was back and forth, but Tottenham were definitely controlling most of the game. Yes, there weren't any goals scored from Tottenham, but again, they were right there. It looks like they were knocking on the door and possibly scoring a goal. Now, like I said, at halftime, Tuchel made a huge change. He took off Mason Mount and he brought in Conte. Now, the reason why I think he did this is because in the first half, Tottenham were just bombarding the midfield. They had so many players inside there that was putting too much pressure onto Kovacic and Jorginho. And when those two guys cannot function and play that they should be, that really affects the way that Chelsea operate and play their style. Because with three in the back, we had Christensen, Rudiger, and Thiago Silva. They're really good back there, and then Azpilicueta and Alonso out on the wings. We needed someone else to come in to help kind of dictate the midfield, because had we not done that, I think Tottenham again would have taken more control of this game and eventually scored a goal. But because we brought in Conte, that then balanced out the midfield in this game, because then with Conte, he almost acts like two players when he comes in. The way he can run around, stop players, make passes, and we even saw him score a goal today. He's pretty much the whole package, but because him coming on, that did end up, like I said, balancing out the midfield, which then made Tottenham almost drop back, because then they didn't have the power in the midfield, which then opened up channels for other players such as Lukaku, such as Kai Havertz. And again, Alonso had a lot of space today. We saw how well he can play when he's able to run up and down the pitch. Again, he had a phenomenal game. You can see why he's starting game in and game out. I hate to say it to Chilwell, because he's a great player as well, but he doesn't deserve to start anytime soon, because again, Alonso is playing out of his mind. He's somehow resurrected his career at Chelsea in the last year and a half, and I'm so happy to see that. He ended up getting an assist. He had the cross from the corner kick, and Thiago Silva was there to get the ball in, and therefore the rest is history and how well this team played. Now, I want to back up a little bit and talk about why Chelsea are playing so well. Again, like I said, Thiago Silva had a great game, but again, Thomas Tuchel, the way he lined up this team, because it could have went really any different way. He could have went with a different back three. He could have went with Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Hudson-Odoi out on the right wing, but instead, like I said, he went with Christensen and then put Azpilicueta, which again is probably the right decision because they're more experienced players, more defensively, and again, it really helps us keep that clean sheet, which Chelsea, as of right now, are known for doing. They've only let up, I believe, one goal, which happened to be Mohamed Salah, and a penalty. And so they actually haven't let up a goal this season yet in open play in the Premier League, and that means a lot, not only for the defenders, but for the goalkeepers. And in today, we didn't see Mendy because he picked up an injury in the Champions League game earlier this week. So again, we had we had Kevin back there, and we're really not too sure how well he's going to do, because as we know, he's a player that sometimes lets in some questionable goals, but today he definitely was on top of his game. Didn't let anything get by him. There was a few shots outside the box, but again, he was there each and every time, making the calls, making the saves that he needed to do. And like I said, we got the clean sheet. So high fives all around to the defenders, goalkeeper, and even the midfield. But we need to also talk about our forwards. Lukaku, again, yes, did not score today, but did give some opportunities for other players to score. There was one in the first half when he played the ball back to Mason Mount that I think was a really good opportunity and very intelligent pass back to Mason Mount, because had he got a good strike on that ball, I'm pretty sure that would have been in the back of the net, because when Mason Mount played it to Lukaku, I think everyone thought he was going to shoot. He played just a nice pass right back to Mount, but again, didn't get the touch that he wanted to, but so be it. We still got the 3 goals in this game. But again, like I said, Lukaku really just pulls players with him. So what that does then is it opens up the entire field for different players then to make a lot of space to make those runs. And again, we saw that happen today. Yes, because he put more pressure on Eric Dyer and even put Romero in a lot of pressuring situations. And what that does then is it drops those guys back, which then drops back their midfield, which then drops Harry Kane back, who then can attack as well. And like we saw in this game, Harry Kane was dropping way too far back for any forward. Yes, he does it for England. Yes, he's done it before for Tottenham. But again, for a goal-scoring guy, you don't want that guy sitting so far back that you really can't get involved in an attacking third. And that is where I think Tottenham had one of their biggest downfalls this game, is that Harry Kane got isolated because of, like I said, Romelu Lukaku, because of his presence. Everything had to shift in Tottenham's midfield and defense, which then made Harry Kane drop back, which then really only left Son to do some counterattacks. But like I said, our defense is so good that they're already prepared for that, and he couldn't get anything going, and therefore they're able to shut him down. And once you're able to shut down Kane and Son, Tottenham really have nothing going on after that. And I hate to say it, but again, that's what all teams need to do, is shut those two players down, which sometimes isn't as easy saying it, but again, when you have a really elite back line midfield, you can easily do that by dictating the play and rate of the game, which Chelsea were able to do. Now, the last takeaway I want to talk about in this game is, again, the way that Chelsea have depth. Because of our depth, we are able to then, again, take it to any team, such as Tottenham, such as Liverpool, any other team we played this season. We can really go at them and really challenge for them and really kind of play different styles of game throughout the game with Thomas Tuchel being able to pull those strings and kind of dictate how we play. Because in the first half, we played a little more defensively, rightfully so. We were playing away, we're playing at Spurs. In the second half, he then again tinkers with the team and does more of attacking style. And again, we saw how well that was for us. We saw 3 goals. We saw, again, Thiago Silva score, Conte score, and Rudiger score. 3 guys you don't expect to score in a game, but again, they did. So I am so happy with the way they performed today. And again, looking forward to their next match. And the funny thing I want to say about Tottenham is right now where they're sitting, they're above Arsenal right now, but they play Arsenal next week. And if they lose that game, Arsenal will go ahead of them, which at the beginning of the season, everyone was laughing at Arsenal, how well or how terrible they were doing and how well Tottenham was doing because they were top of the table. But now we've seen Tottenham drop back-to-back games, and they lose to Arsenal again. It may start questioning Nuno's decision on what type of style he's playing. And this is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning of the season. He got a bit lucky early in the season. They won against Manchester City, which again, they won 1-0. They won their first 3 games 1-0, but they really haven't shown anything creative outside scoring 1 goal and then playing defensively. So if they can't score first, they're a team that is really struggling. And again, if they can't continue to score goals, they will struggle more and more throughout this season. And again, I think this is going to show why Harry Kane really wanted to leave Tottenham, but obviously he wasn't able to. So it is what it is, and I don't really care because Tottenham lost and Chelsea won. So that is all I have for you today. I know I went on a whole tangent on Chelsea today, but again, it was a great match, a great London derby. We saw Chelsea win 3-0, saw 3 great goals. We saw Thiago Silva score, Conte score, and Rudiger score. We saw Kepa get a clean sheet, which again is a great thing to see, and hopefully Mendy is healthy. But as we know, Kepa can also step up to the plate and be a great goalkeeper for Chelsea because, again, we have such a solid defensive line. And we even have Reece James because he's out yet with the red card. So once he comes back, again, the depth that Chelsea has is just immense, and I'm really looking forward to this whole entire season. Not only Premier League, but Champions League, League Cup, FA, all these matches, because again, we're going to see all these different players play for Chelsea and shine throughout this season. So that is all I have for you today on this match for Chelsea versus Tottenham. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. That means a lot. It also gets this video to more and more Chelsea fans because, again, who doesn't love Chelsea? As we know, London is blue. So that is all, and we'll see you next time when I talk about the team of the week for week 5.